Hello everyone, it's Miss Misa here, back with my second video in my series based upon female privileges and men's societal problems. This whole series is going to be focusing on men's rights issues and why they're important and need to be recognised as actual issues rather than being dismissed to make way for complaining about things like manspreading and mansplaining and why men supposedly suck. So today I wanted to tackle something that the anti-SJW community brings up in many debates against feminists as a reason that feminism and society in general doesn't seem to care about the plight of men, and that is male homelessness. Now, we've all heard it before, the male homelessness statistics and how there are more men that are homeless than women, and that women are privileged in this aspect of Western life due to them not needing as much help in this department. And I completely agree with that opinion, but it tends to fall on deaf ears. And I feel as though that happens more often than not because people generally don't care much about homeless people as a whole, let alone the fact that most of them are male. I also think that feminists that us anti-SJWs attempt to tell this fact to are usually so convinced that we live in a world set up against women that they tend to assume that this is a non-issue to them because, well, men are the reason that women suffer, so why should they care if they suffer too? Well, the issue of male homelessness is much worse of an issue than they think it is, and I'm going to be explaining why it's a gendered issue in regards to men having it worse rather than women having it worse. So, as a lot of us already know, 71% of the sheltered homeless population within the UK specifically, and I'm using the UK as an example because the stats from the UK and the US are extremely similar, and also because it's where I'm from, and 25% of the sheltered homeless population are women who are staying in shelters without children, and the rest are women staying with children, as you can imagine. Now, from those statistics alone, you would think that people would understand that homelessness is a gendered issue stacked against men, but nope, that's not good enough. Well, I mean, the charity organisation Homeless Link certainly don't think so. This specific charity organisation represents more than 500 separate groups within England that are fighting to help the homeless. And I can't criticise them for their general work. They help many people who don't tend to have anyone else to go to, and it is a virtuous cause. But they are the kings of spreading misinformation and misrepresenting the homelessness problem, and flat out lying. This organisation only seems to choose to publicise issues faced by homeless women, and even claims that more homeless women have drug issues and are dealing with mental health issues than men, when their website statistics state the exact opposite. According to their own statistics, of the people within their shelters who use crack cocaine, 76% are male. Of all the people who use heroin, 77% are male. Of all the people who use methadone, 75% are male. And of all the people who have mental health issues, 71% are male. Now, considering the majority of the homeless population are men, these statistics aren't really surprising, but the fact that this organisation that is designed to help homeless people decided to only focus on homeless women and their issues when the issue of homeless men outnumbers them greatly says quite a lot about them as an organisation. I mean, if they publicly portray men's homeless issues like this, how are they treating the men behind closed doors? Are they actually attending to their needs as they're supposed to, or are they putting the women first? This kind of shows me the gynocentrism of the society that we live in nowadays, where even when an organisation themselves display that men have it worse than women, they still focus on the women. And the worst part about it is that when a men's rights activist confronted the organisation about their misinformation, they claimed that they presented those fake facts because men tend to say that they don't need help much more than women do, as if to say that because men turn away the help more than women do, that their issues should be pushed to the back of their interest pile? Are they kidding me? Now, granted, men have more of a tendency to say that they don't need help a lot more than women, since women tend to be more emotional than men and plead for help more, but in this case, that isn't true, which I'll show in a moment. And that doesn't mean that you should publish lies about the issue. Your credibility as an organisation is crushed at that point. Now, a survey was conducted after this whole incident came to light, where a couple thousand of the homeless people who resided within the homeless shelters that Homeless Link had possession of, and confirmed the information that the Homeless Link's website was publishing. They found that 72% of the people surveyed who didn't receive help for their mental health issues, who said that they would like help, were male. 75% of the people who didn't receive help for their physical health problems were male. 83% of the drug users who didn't receive help for their addiction were male. 75% of the alcoholics who didn't receive help for their addiction were male, and 74% of the smokers who didn't receive help to quit but wanted to were male. Now, one thing to notice and understand about these statistics is that these cases were for the people within the shelters who needed help, as well as the ones who were male, and it seems like a great deal of them actually needed and wanted the help. So the idea that they didn't was kind of bogus. Now, you can argue that they may have said something different to the surveyors than to the workers at the shelter, which is a valid point, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they still aren't represented within what the organisation was publishing, which is wrong either way. More people are going to look at the media than their website, and in the media they're presenting women's issues as worse, which is false. Now, one other fact that I want to bring to your guys' attention is the fact that 97% of homeless vets are men. Now, this is incredibly sad. These men fought for our country because, women aren't always capable to even be in the army, let alone fight on the front lines, but that's a debate for another video. But they're left to go homeless, and the vast majority of them are men. Which makes me want to quickly address something that some people don't really want to talk about, or they just flat out ignore or don't think about. And I don't care if I sound like a MGTOW when I say this, but think about why men are more likely to be homeless than women. Think about how many of these homeless men lost their homes due to a divorce. Think about how many of those men are vets with severe PTSD, which could be a huge factor as to why they are homeless, this point being more specific to American men. Think about how many of those men were falsely accused of something that they didn't do, if you guys know what I mean, and lost their jobs and families because of it. Think about how many of those men were fucked over by society. There's a reason why men are homeless at an alarming rate in comparison to women, and it's because society treats women much better than it treats men. And to be frank, I don't see how feminists can say that men don't have any problems compared to them. That's a very closed-minded way of looking at things, considering how much evidence there is to suggest otherwise. I mean, The Independent had the audacity to publish an article, which I'll be linking in the description along with all the other sources that I've used for this video, basically saying that homelessness is becoming more of a problem for women and acting as though the issue is a female issue. It's not. Don't get me wrong, anyone being homeless is a terrible thing, and I have sympathy for anyone who's put in that position. But it's not a female issue when 71% of the homeless people within shelters are men. The media ignores this as an issue and even tries to act as though it doesn't affect men that much. And feminists wonder why MRAs exist and MGTOW have begun to hate women so much that some of them want to have flat out gendered segregation. It's no fucking wonder when society puts women on such a high pedestal and feminists still have the audacity to complain about stupid shit like the supposed wage gap or mansplaining. It's fucking pathetic. But anyway guys, that's all I really wanted to say on the matter for this video. I have a few more men's rights videos that I want to make, but if you have any suggestions for any other issues that you want me to discuss, then just let me know in the comments. And as always, I will see you in the next video of whatever the fuck I decide to make next. Peace out, guys. Bye!